complete the entire trail. Outside of this next construction season will get us from to that point. Nance Corner there is what we've been calling that. But outside of that, that'll complete it.
So is the green the boundary of the houses?
Yeah, that's those property lines.
And so the blue is what is the trail?
Yes. And
So
that,
you have part of that going over the water?
yeah, and that's where if you see the boardwalk, 8-foot boardwalk section, that's that section.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Basically, that would get you, I don't know if you see where the blue kind of circles back to the southwest.
The ADA trail completion. Again, the other projects are what, we've been talking about, the community center, the 3rd Street building, the library, the playground equipment at Rec Park, and then some sidewalk options. So, again, like I said, we can go down through those and talk about what each project. And again, of course, there's some dollar figures there listed showing what the total of all of those would come out to be. So, and like I said, so Steve's kind of presenting the information for the ADA one. Any questions regarding that?
Well, on this one, the playground equipment's not for Rec Park, it's for the new community park, the ADA playground equipment for community park. But on mine, I don't have Rec Park.
Well, and it could apply for either one.
I know I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 300,000 would be more what we would have at the community park, and I'll know more at the end of the next park board meeting and what the direction. What we have right now to replace at Rec Park is roughly 130,000, or I have two versions. 130,000 one that would be about like what we replaced, and an $80,000 one that's a little smaller, still serve the purpose, and we actually have that budgeted. Like we have capital, ACET sales tax capital budgeted in case we want to go in that direction. That way it wouldn't take away from any projects at the new park, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and again, like Steve mentioned, like I said, that the 300,000 there, there's the playground equipment is scalable enough. So like I said, that's pretty easy. Again, when you're looking at the completion of the ADA trail, again, we're going from point A to point B. It's kind of hard to just do a portion of things like that. So, but like I said, the community center, Tim, you guys met with the community board yesterday.
Yes, we met with Joanne. Yes, we met with Joanne Akey and also Mark Baker to talk about some of the renovation ideas that they may have. And some of the items that we talked about was enlarging the bathrooms or making the bathrooms more ADA accessible, updating the kitchen area, expanding the kitchen area, updating the electrical, interior and exterior lighting, updating the flooring, and also bumping the kitchen area out into the non-conditioned space to make it larger, and moving some doors around.
Non-conditioned, did you just say? You mean the barn space?
Yeah, non-conditioned, meaning it's not heated or cooled.
How much did we just pay to have the new HVAC put in?
I think it was like 17,000, give or take. Yeah. So making it more friendly, ADA accessible, more appealing, upgrading, give them more of a pop feel to the public.
And we've been working with SFS, architects on that. Again, they had done some work for us previously when we were looking at the COVID grant for that. They had put some stuff together, so staff have been working with them to, again, to kind of put that figure together. Like I said, and staff said we meet with the board yesterday to kind of go over some of the options. So we don't have an estimate or quote from them yet. That 750 is again our best guess as to what those upgrades would cost. Again, and that's just basing it off the previous work that we had them look at doing. So,
and that also possibly includes some concrete work and audio system, sound system.
Did they completely finish the parking lot?
What you would refer to as phase one.
That's not what I said. Is the parking lot completely asphalted?
No.
Okay, all right.
And
So
so,
is there a reason we didn't add that in?
no, and that could be something that with that project, like I said, if you chose to move forward with that and the $750,000, you could scale back what you're doing on the parking lot to meet that dollar figure. If there's enough to do all of that, then great. If there's not, then you could scale that back. That's something that you could adjust
Okay.
as we got the final figures. Also on there is the sidewalk. Tad had been working with Bartlett and West on two different options for sidewalks. Tad, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, most of you guys know, you guys are wanting, to put sidewalk down, Grand Avenue to Walnut, possibly from Harris. I noticed that the sidewalk stop at the housing, units on Harris and Cedar, so I had them add sidewalk going down both, just on one side of both Cedar and Harris to connect into Grand.
Okay, now,
Also.
I have a question about that.
Okay.
It stops on the north side of our property, so
Right.
we have sidewalks all the way around our
Right,
property.
on the north
Okay.
side of
It
the
was a
house.
little deceiving when it said no existing sidewalks at the housing authority.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, no, that's fine, I just,
It-
yeah.
It stops at just north of the
Right,
housing, and
okay.
then there's nothing from there on to Grand Avenue, so I went ahead and had them added in on one side on both streets and on one side of Grand Avenue, all the way to Walnut. And then sometimes MoDOT kind of throws a wrench in our plans, since it's on their right of way. I went ahead and included the walking circuit around the schools and the, swimming pool, just for a backup.
Just as an alternate in case we
In case.
can't get a MoDOT permit and things like that in time for the grant application, we'll at least have it backup.
Okay, so we haven't actually talked to MoDOT, or you have talked to
I
MoDOT?
have,
Okay.
that's a very long process.
Okay, yeah.
To talk with MoDOT. I'm just lucky I've got these numbers.
Okay, so one or the other.
Right.
Right. Yep. Yeah, like I said, we initially, like I said, just given the short window for this, like I said, we think we could probably work out any permitting issues with MoDOT, but there's that chance, and so like I said, so we wanted to have an alternate option there, so. Any other questions on the sidewalks? Okay. Also on the list, the library's got some plans for upgrading their entrance, and again, some ADA issues that they're trying to address, so they're on there. Joelle, anything you wanna add to?
Well, that's the primary one, we've talked about that for a couple of years now. If we, the estimate was gonna be somewhere under $100,000, but if we had, a little bit more funding, we could put the cornice on the front, do some more decorative work, and maybe add some signage and lighting up there, so it was more recognizable. And then, there's always interior stuff, if there was if something came around, but, the primary and biggest, most important, factor is getting that ADA compliant, fixing our sidewalks so they're more accessible, and adding ADA parking outside the library, adding better ADA parking outside the library.
And then also on the list, we've got the Third Street building. BJ, anything you wanna add? Anything you wanna add?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to add that I was very encouraged after the after the Zoom meeting with Mr. McGarity from Bartlett and West, that he reviewed with us why he made the decisions he made regarding his inspection of the buildings, and we at the Historical Preservation Society are very confident in his ability and in the decision that he made. There were some concerns expressed last time regarding why further studies weren't done, and he made it clear that he didn't find it necessary. With the amount that we're applying for, we feel confident that we can fix and repair the exterior structure and do all of the waterproofing and all of the masonry work, replacement of doors and windows that would be necessary to make it to where the downstairs areas would be able to be open for shop, and we'd be able to renovate the upstairs. It's on our time frame, but we feel very confident that we would have a safe and usable building for many people in the community. And Mr. McGarry felt that it would be serviceable for years to come, and we're very confident in his decision, so we're very thankful for an opportunity to save what we feel is the heart of our downtown and a very important structure in our landscape.
So those are the projects that we've been working on. Again, trying to finalize some costs and starting the conversations with the engineering and architect firms that would be designing those projects. And again, as you can see on the worksheet, those all total to $5.9 million. That's exceeds the $3.5 million grant. So kind of what we've done, listed below there, listed different options of grouping different projects together. And again, those subsequent totals are listed there below. And again, so it comes down to the decision of which projects does the council wish to proceed proceed with, and or do we proceed at all? Those are the questions before you tonight. Don't everybody speak at once.
So, the last we talked, we didn't really know a whole lot from MoCan. Is there anything new from them?
Nothing new from MoCan.
Except they need it tonight.
Yeah, again, we're running up against the window of, obviously, the grant application is due November 30th, which we all know that. And again, it's going to take, all of the engineering architect firms we've talked with have expressed the interest that they can get us the necessary information to meet the grant deadline. So that was good. That was an initial concern that we had. There's still the question of those expenses that we incur now getting this information from the engineering firms and stuff, that will those be reimbursable? MoCan indicates that they believe that they will be. That's not a definite answer, but they believe that they will be.
You mean if we get the
If
grant?
If we get the grant, right. Yeah, obviously, if we don't get the grant, we're out that money, and like I said, there's also that chance that if we do get the grant, we're still out that money. And again, I think most of the projects on this list are projects that I think are good for the city and benefit the city, and so there is a need to have a ready a PER done on some of these projects and have them on the shelf, have them ready to go for when the next round of funding comes available. We have that shovel-ready project, and we can put that out the door. So I think there's some benefit to that. I don't want you to think that it would be money that's completely lost on these PER. There is still some value to that. So the other, what was the other MoCan issue that we were working on? I think one concern that they have, and obviously, so the engineer, they'll be able to get the information together, but MoCan will need some time to prepare the narrative and to prepare the grants and be able to package these in a way and present these in a way that all of these projects are somewhat related and are part of the larger overall grant submittal. And they've made it very clear that we're not looking just to do this project, just pile it all together and see what we get. That there needs to be some cohesive, needs to be, again, they'll have to find a way to tie these grants together. So we've kind of been talking about that and working on that, but it will take them some time to get all this information put together to be submitted by the end of the month.
And this is $10 million for all of North Westminster, or anything north of I-70.
Pretty
So
much.
we're competing for part of $10 million. Actually, we're competing for a quarter of it. If we get it, we'll get a quarter of the $10 million, because we've already got most of the $1 million, which we would use as the match. We're not getting that also. We've already got that, right?
Correct.
I think they said it capped out at 2.5 million for.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is that's $10 million, and we're talking about everything north of I-70, and we were talking about St. Joe also, and, you
Yes,
know,
yes.
you know, but anyway, so,
I-
okay, that's just what I wanted to know.
It will, I have no doubt that it will be highly competitive. Again, you're competing against St. Joe, Marysville, Chillicothe, Kirksville, Hannibal. Macon.
So-
There's, yeah.
Right, okay, so I have a question here, and maybe I'm gonna sound stupid, but not the first time, won't be the last time. Can any of these projects apply for that grant by themselves? For part, you know, like for part of it? So like, let's take the Third Street buildings, okay, can they apply on their own for this grant? Theirs is 1.3 million, which would be just a little, just a little over half. If we got the 2.5 million and we have them in there, that would be a little over half of the grant that we applied for. Can they apply on their own?
Yeah, the eligible applicants are Missouri municipalities, counties, industrial development authorities, and nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
Yeah.
BJ, have you guys talked about applying for that grant on your own?
Yes, we have, and MOCAN advised us and directed us firmly that it would double the points on the grant if we were involved in your group, because downtown historic preservation is a large part of what they're looking for when they give this money away. So it's better for us and better for you if we do it together, because they go by a point system, and it automatically gives us 10 points instead of 5 off the bat if there's downtown revitalization included in this package.
Thank you.
Have we done any engineering on this building?
We had an engineer come out and look at this building, some of the efficiencies, that's all we've done so far.
We've gotten a few estimates on, again, a few of the things that we would be looking to do if we didn't apply for this. Just we've had an estimate on some of the brickwork, specifically the front of the building. Yeah, we did have an engineer come look, and look at some of the settling. I think there's some things that we could do there that we at least need to establish a baseline and reevaluate to see how much it's selling. Those are some things that we can do there, but again, some of our quotes that we've gotten, again, they're gonna be 6 months to a year old by now, so we'd have to revisit those.
Because that's probably my biggest concern with any of these. I mean, they're all very worthy projects. But even grants aren't gonna be available for the city hall, the foundation, the front. So if we spend this money somewhere else, I don't see any revenue that's going to fix this building. And we can say, well, we think it's gonna be $500,000 to fix the whole building. You'll have another $500,000 left of the other ARPA monies. But everything on the list that we thought was, a couple $100,000 is 1.4 million when we actually get the numbers. So that and the loader, there's other things, but I'm worried that if you spend this money outside of here, you're never gonna be able to find the money for here again. That's my biggest concern about this whole thing.
So, go ahead.
If I can add to that, there may be an option. This building is old enough that it may be paid off or close to it. So it may be a thing that we could, and use this method over and over by future councils, because there's always ongoing maintenance, to simply do some sort of a lease purchase and get funding. You've got all the different, City Hall is used by all the different funds, and we've got around 2,200 customers, if I'm remembering right. So by the time you broke it up among all the funds and all the different people, you may be able to go ahead and make the repairs now, but it's at least a way to check into doing it. I always hate to give up grant money. If there's any way to get somebody else to pay for our stuff, that's always desirable. But that would be, at least be an option to investigate.
It is an option to investigate, but we are getting ready to raise utility rates. We have the Genwick project coming down the line, which will raise their rates. We're probably gonna have to raise the rates for recycling, and you wanna add more money onto that to take care of City Hall, when we have money right now that we could take care of City Hall with. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that it's worth going through the financial gymnastics to see what it would add to people's bill. If you break it up among that many funds and that many customers, you may not, and it's, you know, if it's $300,000 or $400,000, you may not be looking at any sort of an increase. Maybe it's a quarter or something like that, added to a bill. I'm just simply saying, let's make an informed decision and looking at all the options.
Well, I have a total different take. The grants, whatever, but I look at the fact that we actually built this city hall without a loan. And we haven't done a very good job of taking care of it at all, sadly to say. And I think using grant money out of the skies, manna, yeah, it's an easy fix, but I think we should actually gear down and fix this thing and make it a priority, like we should have done the last 10 years, rather than wait, having manna come out of the sky and then just fix it. I don't think that's being diligent at all. I think we missed the boat, seriously, on how we handle our funds and and what we have to take care of. I think we've done a poor job of it. So, I'm not gonna say one thing or the other, but I do have a different take on it. As far as taking care of our stuff, we've done a lousy job.
Roy, would you remind us of one of the sessions that you sat in on MML about the discussion of the grant monies? This is not the only year
Oh,
for
no.
the grant money.
They act like that over the next 3 years, there's going to be tons and tons and tons of grant opportunities coming out of from the feds to the state. So, the other apprehension I have is, this is just the first one that it's so specific that makes me think that the government people down there has already got this going in one direction or another. So, just because, even if you didn't do it now, I think you're gonna have another 10 opportunities, if you want to apply for a grant for the community building, or for the 3rd Street building. I just think they acted like there's going to be lots and lots and lots and lots of opportunities for grants.
That means there might be other opportunities for grants to fix City Hall though, too.
Right? That's absolutely true.
We can actually find opportunities to fix City Hall. That is our responsibility. But yes, there may be, but I don't think we're waiting for manna to come out of the sky.
Well, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
It would shock, it would shock me if they were municipal buildings,
Right, it probably wouldn't be.
grant
Well,
money out there.
Is that, okay, so I guess my question then is that the grants that are coming down are not necessarily the same one as this one.
Oh, no.
Because
No.
this one, we can't use to fix City Hall. Is that what you mean?
They rattled off DNR stuff for 20 minutes. Water in, waste in, sidewalk, streets, roads, park stuff, community revitalization stuff. I think this was just the first one that they pushed out the door, one of a lot. as long as this administration's gonna be in there. I don't know that, I can't guarantee it.
It sounds like they're all gonna be very competitive, so I think we should
Right.
try for as many of them as we can.
Right. I don't disagree.
Well, I feel really weird about saying, here's a basket of eggs, and they're not in there, and that's kinda what you're telling me. Is that right? That we're gonna have a basket of eggs, and it's not what you may or may not?
Well, I think you gotta worry about what you can get. Like I said, I don't know that you're gonna have any kind of funding to fix this, whatever it's gonna cost.
You mean if we don't use the funding that we have in
Correct.
ARPA now?
If you don't use those ARPA funds now.
That's what you're saying, you gotta put that ending on there. so-
Because this is the only one, this is one of the few things that was eligible, well, there's a lot of things eligible for the ARPA funds. But this, the city hall being eligible for this one, the original one, was kinda different. Because this grant, you couldn't use it for the city hall.
Right.
Zach, would you research when this city hall was built, how it was paid for? If it was paid for with cash or if it was leveraged in some way?
I think we asked that last time.
We asked somebody from the audience and they went from memory, but I'd like to know for sure.
Yeah, we borrowed money to pay for this. I don't have the exact details of that, but yes, it was leveraged and, yeah.
I would have wondered about that.
Yeah.
Now, there probably was a cash portion to it, but I don't, and I think Carmen was working on that history too, so, but we can get that answer for you.
Right. I'm sure that whoever made the comment was sincere, but I doubted the accuracy of it. It would be very unusual
Right.
to pay cash.
I remember when it happened, I just don't remember how.
You know, a lot of you guys are like in adolescent school.
What year was it?
I just know I was.
I wanna say,
Alexander was born.
2002.
We opened this building in 2001, and we moved up on Third Street in 2000, and I was concerned with moving buildings twice, so that was my major focus at the time.
Well, I was in second grade.
There you go. I knew there was something.
I already had kids. So, I would like to know exactly, kind of bid-wise, what it would take to bring this up to where it needs to be first. What we're gonna have to pay for the new loader.
I have some numbers here.
Except that they've gotta know tonight,
Right.
I understand that.
Okay.
But, the loader, it has, like a little over 1,100 hours on it, and it's $168,500. BTC Bank give us a 4-year note on it at 4.35%, and Farmers State Bank give us a quote at 4.75%, and that's for 4 years.
And what was the total? I'm sorry.
168,500, if it's still available.
The first one was was that also for 4 years? The first
Yes,
lending
yes.
institution?
BTC Bank they're all for 4 years, is 4.35%,
That's a good one. That's much better.
and then Farmers is 4.75.
Now, you had mentioned one time in our conversation about maybe possibly a lease purchase.
Yes, but this is gonna be the cheaper way to go
Okay.
than the lease purchase. Their interest rate was considerably higher.
Okay.
And this 4 years, we was gonna do the lease to purchase for 4 years also, so the years was the same.
So roughly 45,000 a year, 40,000?
About
48.
47, a little over 47,000 a year.
And even though I know that you wanna get a quote on what it would take to fix this building, there are things that we can fix now with that money. I mean, it's kind of like any project that we do. You start off and you get a quote, and by the time you get around to building it, it's not the same price. But surely with $1,900,000, however many dollars, there's a lot of things that we can fix, and I would think that they would start with the worst and work their way.
Right, but I wouldn't want to, if it's gonna cost 500,000, then we know we'd have $400,000 to play with. versus,
Well, $400,000 to play with, are you talking about buying the loader? out
for
of
grant
this?
money or for whatever.
But are you talking about also buying the loader out of
Right.
that? Okay.
I just don't know where you're gonna come up with that money for the loader. I mean, you're already down, what are we leaving the streets budget this year?
Go down to 100,000 on
Oh,
each street budget.
And that's with nothing happening yet. We're in the same month at the beginning. So you take another $50,000 a year out of that, which you're not gonna have anything for the next 4 years, which we don't have much now.
You mean, what do you mean? We're not gonna have anything?
Well, if you take the money out of the streets budget,
The street maintenance.
Oh,
Street maintenance budget.
okay, got it. Well, you're
and-
always spending more money when you do a loan, or a lease purchase, or whatever.
so if you wanna save 4%, you just pay for it. Maybe, is that anybody know if that qualifies with our ARPA funds?
Yeah. Carmen said it would, yes.
Would-
We could use the ARPA money on the loader.
That's what I'm saying.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you don't have,
Usually interest.
we wouldn't have to borrow money, we wouldn't have to pay more money in interest, to borrow money for the loader and to fix this. And I don't like to leave grant money on the table either, but it just seems like we keep kicking the can down the road on fixing City Hall and
Well,
other stuff.
and again, as Tad mentioned, I mean, we have to purchase a loader. We have to do something.
Right.
So our option right now is either, if we're gonna use the ARPA money, okay, great, fine. If not, then we're gonna have to finance it, and we're gonna come up with $48,000 somewhere. I mean, we don't have a choice, we don't have an option, we're gonna have to do that.
Right.
And the other thing that we're running up against is, since we're buying used, we don't know that this one is still available. I mean, we're running up against that as well, as we still have to find one.
I actually spoke with the dealer today, and I asked him if it was still there, and he says, I'm not for sure, but we could probably find you one comparable to that one.
When are we supposed to know whether we get the grant or not?
I don't know what the,
Late December, wasn't it?
What is it?
First of January was what we were told in the meeting.
yeah, I think that's what they said.
December, end of December, early January.
Early
somewhere.
January, I
The window, turnaround window is pretty quick. So,
Yeah,
that's-
Which I understand that if you don't get the grant and we've got this money, but you take the chance of getting the grant and having to use this money for the match. Well, I mean, somebody's gonna be upset no matter which direction you go. And that's just the way it is. That grant that we wanna get's not gonna pay for everything that we have on this list, not in any of the options. So we would have to cut something anyway.
Right.
So what do we need to do here to start the decision making? Do I just need to say what I feel like my decision would be and everybody else can decide what their decision's gonna be? And then we go from there? Or, because Shelley, you mentioned earlier that we needed to vote, right?
We just need a consensus, but if you guys wanna vote to make it formal in the minutes, you certainly can.
And I guess, to Roy, back to your point about, and Julie, you're talking about, what it would take for City Hall and bids like there. I think those are all definitely questions that we can answer. I don't think those have to be answered now. I think the question tonight is, do we wanna proceed with the grant in one of these proposed options or some combination of these projects, or do we not? And do we not wanna do it, we wanna use the ARPA funds for something else? I think that's the first question that the council probably needs to answer.
Okay, my decision is to not proceed with the grant and use the ARPA money to fix up City Hall. Restore City Hall, however you want to put it.
Do we have a
Restore
second?
sounds better than didn't fix that.
I thought we were each standing our piece.
Okay, that's fine.
What did you think we were gonna do?
I thought you were making a
No, I'm not
motion.
making a motion, I'm just saying that's what I would want to do.
I think it does a disservice to our community for us to not allow that, or at least allow the opportunity. As much as I'd like to also take care of this, I think that we ought to put our big pants on and take care of the city and make it a priority. So whatever happens, happens, but I think that it is a disservice to our community if we don't do these.
So what was that, for the grant or not for the grant?
Not,
For the grant.
no, you're not.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
not, you want to go for the
As
$2.5
much-
million?
Yes, yes, that's what I was saying, as much as I want this fixed, I think we ought to put our big boy pants on and do it outside of the grant, any of the ARPA money. Maybe I
Oh,
didn't say
okay,
that
that's
right.
not what I thought you said.
Yes.
So you do want to?
Yes, I think it will do a disservice if we don't at least try that. I can't imagine looking at people and saying you stifled that.
So you wanna proceed with the grant?
I do.
Okay. Al?
I also would like to proceed with the grant. I think that, passing it up would be a waste of an opportunity. If there are more grants, great, one of them might be able to help us deal with whatever other problems come down the road. I just, as competitive as they are, and as they're all going to be, I think we should try for as many of them as we can.
Denny?
I would agree.
There's your answer.
Right, you didn't even have to say it.
I just think there's gonna be able to piecemeal this and better opportunity down the road over the next year.
Well, yeah.
You don't know.
You're saying there's a basket of eggs there, and I don't know if that's gonna happen.
No, but one of the things that we do know that's not gonna happen is we're not gonna have the funds to fix City Hall.
That is true, but I'm hoping that the finance committee will start making that a priority come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay.
do we have to decide on our options tonight?
Yes, so that would be the next question. We need to decide which ones.
Okay, so just throw them up the wall and let's take darts and see which one they hit.
So again, like I said, we've kind of pieced them together there and some options to give you some ideas of what the cost would be. Again, the grant, again, like 3.55 million would be eligible. So like I said, so there's some options there to look at.
Zach, my understanding is that if we, and I know this has been a moving target, so no foul if something's changed, but as I'd understood it originally, if we list multiple things and we see, okay, we can do this one cheaper, and there's a real good chance we could move that money to another project.
Yeah, there
And
is,
this is a revitalization grant.
right, there is some flexibility there, yes.
So revitalization might mean including the playground equipment that had to be removed from Rec Park,
I think that would make so many families happy. It was unbelievable.
and the Third Street building, possibly that would be a revitalization.
The library,
I'm sorry, what?
then the library.
The library, yes. And so if we got into it, since we're having to wing it, there's a good chance we can move this money around within those designated projects. Do you think that's still accurate?
Right, it would be within those projects that are, yes.
So we're better off having multiple projects so that we can move those resources around if we needed to. And certainly parks could absorb a lot of the money if we got the grant, but, and I'm just simply using that for an example. Same thing on the Third Street building or whatever.
Well, see, also the community center is also revitalizing.
That's true, that would,
So do you
Okay.
turn in
But
$6 million worth of?
I don't think so. I don't think you'll be able to turn in $6 million worth of grants.
Right,
If it's capped at 2.5.
And again, and what they've indicated to us is it's,
That's not how it works with
the
it.
more projects you have listed, the less attractive your grant application is.
okay, I did not understand
Right,
that.
and you
I
can't
didn't know
overspend
that.
you can't overspend what's available, that's not how a grant works.
So.
Yeah, cause ultimately, by overcommitting, then you are committed to finishing, then you're essentially listing that as your additional match, and you're still committed to doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, if we submit the grant application for $5.9 million, we've gotta do $5.9 million worth of stuff.
Right.
So, does somebody wanna present one of these options, or be the,
I don't,
or is there something, a different option that somebody would like to?
If you notice, there's a blank down there at the bottom that we can,
Right.
that you can, come up with your own list. And
well, I believe if Denny and this is a revitalization grant, then maybe we should first stick with revitalization.
I would think that would make it more likely to be chosen, if I understand it right. Anything
that's
that
the
we're
case.
steering into left field or something, if you would please let us know, Zach.
Okay, so how about option B, but instead of the trails, we replace it with the Third Street buildings?
Well, the trails would not be revitalization, it
Yeah.
would basically be new.
Right. So
Right,
that shouldn't be
that's
in
what I'm
there.
saying, take it off and replace it with the Third Street buildings, and,
It's about the same amount of money.
yeah, and then, I think it's what, $83.2 thousand less?
Right, so the community center, the library,
Cause having the Third Street buildings on there makes us look better. It's revitalization, and, it's cheaper.
the only thing that's not revitalization is Harris Street, but my gosh, we need that so bad.
You mean the sidewalk?
I'm gonna see, sidewalk, we really need that so bad.
Well, and the
Like
community
West End.
park is not really revitalization either.
Oh, you mean the playground equipment on the rec park?
Right, but I don't really see anything else.
Well, it kinda
That
is
we-
because it's taken out.
No, because that's the ADA. That's the, ADA, that's the ADA playground equipment at the new park.
No, it shouldn't, no, okay.
Well,
I
that's
thought-
what it says,
yeah,
Becky.
Yeah, you're right, it does. All right, well, I changed it.
Well, okay, so somewhere we need to put in the playground equipment that came out of
Rec park.
rec park.
Yeah, so that would be
Yes.
renovation. Lots of voices are still crying for those.
So, replace the 88 trails
Yes, it's, no.
on option B
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the downtown,
Yeah, swap it out with
Third
Third
Street.
Street buildings, yeah.
okay? And you're gonna say the recreation park playground equipment instead of
The new,
ADA playground equipment at the new park.
However, I don't think that the replacing the playground equipment at rec park is gonna be 1.3 million.
no, but it's nice to have that 300 there, right?
No, but that's only 300,000.
300,
I say
Oh, I'm
only.
looking through, I'm sorry, I'm looking through the wrong thing.
So, is everybody cool with that?
Yep.
That was way quicker than I thought it was gonna be.
well, when you narrow it down to renovation, that kind of.
I expected more pushback than I did, but okay.
And that will give us a thing, so.
Don't get used to it.
No, I
And they
know.
should be able to put that all together with revitalization.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's enough of, an ADA theme there that we can tie all of these projects together into one.
Now, this is a bit of a far-fetch, but from my experience of driving on Harris Street, I drive down Harris and then go up on Walnut 2 or 3 times a day. And I've almost hit, I don't know how many people, and one died seriously almost on a wheelchair. That is
Somebody
ADA.
did get hit a couple years ago.
That is, I mean, that is an ADA.
But aren't we
thing.
getting a grant to do those sidewalks on Harris? We didn't get that grant?
That's, no,
That's
this
up
is
north, that's by the south.
That's part of the
Where are you
south.
talking
That's
about?
south.
I'm talking about from the.
like 4th to 8th, that's where our grant was.
Right,
Right.
I'm talking about where your thing, all the way where it ends on the south end of the, wherever your development is,
Oh,
all
at
the way up.
Bristol Manor on
Right.
one side and
Goes
the
in
church
front of-
on the, oh,
yes.
okay. Well,
That,
but that's what he's yeah, he's got that in there.
that's, I know.
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to loop it in with ADA because it is, the section of town is very, they don't have cars, they're walking all the time.
So option B, community center, library, Third Street buildings, playground equipment at Rec Park, and the sidewalk Harris project. You need a vote?
Sorry.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Zach, just when we present that, I don't know if it would move towards revitalization, but we'd be tying that into an existing sidewalk.
Oh, sure, oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
And that's the advantage of having MoCan put all that together. They're familiar with the Harris Street project and that CDBG grant, so,
okay.
yeah.
Could, I know this, I'm just being a female right here, but can we just tell MoDOT that we really need to have that there because
We really want it.
yeah, we really need it there. Because we're gonna grant, we need to have it there.
Well, even if they put shoulders on the dang road,
Oh my
it would help.
gosh. I mean, the people walking in the mud.
Works for me, I'm sure MoDOT will.
Okay, I think that is
All right.
okay.
I'll take it out to dinner.
Option B with the add-ins, everybody good? Everybody happy?
Good.
Is there anything else?
Do you need a vote on that, Shelley, or are you fine?
So, you know, I think that's a consensus, and we'll notify.
I think if MoCan needs something more formal than that, it would have to be a resolution anyway. So.
Yeah, there will be more actions needed, but this was enough, this is what we needed to proceed.
Okay.
So we'll get that going, and yeah, there'll be a resolution and stuff, there'll be requirements we'll have to do for the match, things like that.
Okay, so next question. There are some things on this list that we did spend some money on for planning for this. How much was that? And can we use that in the future?
You mean as far as these projects, what we're gonna use?
Yes, I mean, we spent money on these already, correct, on some of these?
We spent a little more, we'll spend a lot more in the next month.
No, I know, but I'm talking about ones that we're not.
Are you talking about the PERs?
Yes.
Yeah,
It was a community.
I don't think there's anything,
Except for maybe the trail.
yeah,
That's not gonna be. that's
we
not-
haven't, we haven't spent really much on that PER yet
You mean the one for the trail?
for the trails.
Okay, 'cause that didn't make it, so I just was
Yeah.
wondering if we spent money.
And like I said at the beginning, even if we do, again, that's a project that's gonna happen eventually.
Right.
We didn't waste any money by doing the PER on that. Even if we decide to proceed, but, yeah, we're probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000. That we'll sell out in the next month or so on these.
Yeah.
But will that come out of general fund or come out of our?
PER was 8,000,
No, this will be, because it,
This will be, so we're having to spend this out of reserves.
yep. Oh, yeah, we're gonna stick the library for their portion, and HPS is, they're footing the bill for theirs, so,
Their PRs.
yeah, they're PDR, so,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, the other ones, yeah, like I said, those will be on us to do.
Okay. Is there anything else? Someone forgetting? All right. Do I need a motion to adjourn?
So look,
Second.
All in favor? Or we got a roll call?
No, we're not in executive.
Okay. All in favor? Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I.
Any opposed, same sign?